In a quiet control room at the edge of California's Mojave Desert, screens that normally hum with routine telemetry have started to flicker with irregular data. Every few minutes, a soft ping ripples across the monitors, a precise, repeating pulse riding on the 1420 MHz hydrogen frequency. Technicians check for interference, but the pattern keeps returning. Misuse, deliberate, mathematical. Silenced, the October wind moves through the satellite dishes like a whisper, carrying the weight of something no one expected to hear again. Missions within an hour, the data is mirrored on secure servers. Wildfires, a handful of researchers know that what they are seeing does not match any known comet behavior. And before the day ends, an anonymous source will make sure the world sees it too. Make sure to watch to the end to see the surprising result. Silenced, the first leak. Teammates, at 5 AM GMT, an encrypted file labelled Atlas Core Archive appears on a restricted scientific forum, used by astronomers to share raw telescope data. It contains high-resolution thermal maps and internal review notes marked Confidential, Deep Space Survey Division. Amientos, the upload lasts only 6 minutes before being deleted, but hundreds of copies are already downloading. Mistakenly, the file name begins trending on academic channels. Sluggish recognize the internal formatting immediately. It matches NASA's proprietary file structure. Dismantles inside the system intentionally released it. Inside the archive are thermal signatures from the interstellar object known as 3I Atlas, the third confirmed visitor from beyond our solar system. One section stands out, a spectrographic chart showing rhythmic bursts of non-thermal radiation. Perfectly timed. Shimmitation beside it reads, "Possible artificial modulation detected. The scientist behind the leak. Crimson. By midday, the world knows his name. Dr. Adrian Kell. A respected astrophysicist and consultant for multiple deep space projects, Kell has spent 2 decades studying exoplanet atmospheres and electromagnetic anomalies. Misogya is meticulous. Careful. The kind of scientist who refuses interviews and never inducts measure of how it reflects light.
That is why his sudden disappearance is alarming. Colleagues say he had grown frustrated with what he called a culture of quiet censorship. In internal messages recovered by journalists, he warned that crucial findings about 3I/ATLAS were being filtered before release. He believed the object's energy profile hinted at engineering, at technology, not nature. Now, after years of silence, his name is attached to a leak that could redefine humanity's understanding of the universe, and he is nowhere to be found. The object everyone is watching, 3I/ATLAS, first entered detection range months ago, cutting across the outer solar system at extraordinary speed. Unlike any comet previously recorded, it shows no visible outgassing, no debris tail, and no rotational drift. Its albedo, the measure of how it reflects light,
remains constant despite changes in solar intensity. Telescopes in Hawaii, Chile, and Japan have tracked it every night this week. What they see is unsettling consistency. An object holding a perfect trajectory, as though guided. At its current velocity, it will pass near Mars within days before slingshotting closer to Earth's orbital path. Each new frame adds to the mystery. No tumbling, no erosion, just motion. Clean, deliberate, and silent. NASA's official line. As news of the leak explodes online, NASA issues a brief warning statement. 3I/Atlas remains a natural interstellar object. Any unauthorized data circulating online is being investigated. But inside the agency, multiple employees privately admit to unease. Misunderstand that portions of the data match legitimate archives. One systems analyst, speaking under condition of anonymity, says, "The formatting is too specific to fake. Someone had clearance." Misled that, administrators hold their position. Press officers redirect questions toward ongoing planetary research, avoiding the leaked material entirely. Crimson brought the medical is clear. Nothing unusual is happening. But for those following the data closely, the silence feels strategic. Media frenzy. By evening, every major network is running the story. Breaking news banners flash, classified NASA files leak, possible evidence of non-human technology. Talk shows invite astrophysicists, theologians, and ex-intelligence officials to speculate. Across social platforms, citizen astronomers livestream their telescope feeds. Some claim to detect faint flickers on 3I/Atlas's surface. Others hear phantom tones in background radio noise. Most of it is distortion, but not all of it. A group of university students in Spain uploads a clear graph showing synchronized radio bursts. The pattern mirrors the leaked hydrogen line emissions almost perfectly. Within minutes, their post receives millions of views and an urgent takedown request from an unknown government IP. The world has entered what scientists once feared most: discovery by chaos. Divided science. The leak. Another archive appears. Atlas Signal 9B.zip. This one contains audio renderings of radio data translated into sound waves. During playback, the noise is low and rhythmic, almost like breathing. Within the frequencies lies a subtle modulation, small gaps dividing longer pulses. NIMPS analysts compare the timing to binary sequences and prime numbers. The correlation is not exact, but it is close enough to raise questions that no one can easily dismiss. Mitigate. For the first time, public agencies admit the signal exists. A spokesperson for the European Space Agency calls it an interesting anomaly deserving further study. Behind that restraint is a simple truth: the anomaly may be intentional. Government reactions. In Washington, emergency meetings begin behind closed doors. Sources confirm that a classified task force has been established under the Department of Defense to coordinate monitoring of 3I Atlas. Its mandate? Assess potential technological characteristics of the object. The UK and France call for an emergency session of the International Astronomical Union to discuss coordinated observation. Miang's ISRO announces extended radio telescope hours, citing growing global interest. No one publicly uses the word alien, but everyone is thinking it. Diplomatic cables between allied nations leak within hours, revealing a phrase repeated in multiple languages. Possible external origin. The sky tonight. Outside of politics and science, ordinary people are watching the sky. Remorse and city rooftops, telescopes point upward toward the dim object drifting near Pegasus. It is faint, almost invisible without equipment, yet millions track it live through streaming apps and amateur observatories. To most, it is only a moving dot. But knowing that dot may carry signals changes everything. People record the silence of night, waiting to hear the faint hum of something vast and ancient passing overhead. The feeling spreading across the world is not fear, it is anticipation. Misunderstand. Right now, researchers are still analysing the first two leaks. Governments are tightening control of communication lines. Dr. Adrian Kell remains. For 9 full minutes, a structured pulse repeats in an exact rhythm. 3 short bursts, a pause, then 2 long, followed by a silence that feels deliberate. No natural source has ever shown this timing. NASA confirms the reception but issues a brief statement calling it a non-anomalous resonance effect. Privately, multiple engineers admit the explanation doesn't fit. One of them leaks a single line from an internal memo. Signal integrity confirmed. Unknown modulation. The leak spreads faster than the data itself. Patriarch awakening. By dawn, newsrooms everywhere have broken into emergency broadcasts. Networks overlay the rhythmic tone on air. Millions of people hear the faint mechanical heartbeat of 3I Atlas for the first time. The sound is eerie. Not quite human, but strangely ordered, as if designed to test attention. Social media floods with reactions, some claiming hope, others panic. Hashtag Atlas Signal and hashtag We Are Not Alone dominate every platform. Religious leaders issue statements urging calm reflection. Skeptics post models proving it could still be a natural resonance. But one fact remains undeniable. The signal is repeating across multiple observatories on opposite sides of the planet. Whatever 3i Atlas is, it's transmitting. Continuously, intentionally, and in sync. The scientists return. Immigration. Atlanta to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, a live stream appears under an unverified academic channel. The title is simple. Dr. Kell Statement. Negligence. He looks older. Excursus. He looks older, exhausted but focused. Behind him, a whiteboard covered in orbital diagrams. He speaks slowly, choosing each word as if measured against the noise. The object is communicating, he says. Not with language, but with rhythm. It's broadcasting something self-consistent. I don't know who else has heard it, but if we ignore it, we may lose the chance to understand. Missionary lasts 2 minutes before vanishing. The channel goes dark, leaving behind a silence heavier than before. Every scientist watching knows what this means. He still has access to our executive building. Admirals from NASA, the Pentagon, and the National Science Foundation gather under a new operational code, Project Delphi. Pilgrimage, evaluate potential external intelligence indicators. Float, misery, across the Atlantic, the European Union holds a similar meeting. Point, the Chinese and Indian agencies establish mirrored programs under different names. Every major power now treats 3i/Atlas not as a comet, but as an object of unknown technological potential. Post. Mistakenly looks from one European defense briefing use a chilling phrase. Non-hostile artifact presumed. Continuous monitoring recommended. The world is watching something it can't yet define, and every nation is trying to decide what to do if it proves true. The cultural shockwave. Post. Go batting. The global reaction feels unlike anything before. Music artists release tracks built from the signal's rhythm. Immigrations live stream telescopic feeds. Propulsion fill with people praying for meaning. TEM markets fluctuate as defense companies surge in value. Missions for the first time humanity shares a single conversation. A universal question that transcends language, borders, and politics. If the signal is real, then something else is out there, and it has noticed us. Post. Scientologists describe a cosmic awareness effect, a mix of wonder and dread spreading through populations. Children draw pictures of glowing comets with windows. Adults search the night sky, torn between awe and fear. The realization isn't cinematic. It's quiet, vast, and deeply human. Post. A new leak. While the world debates, another encrypted folder appears on the same forum that hosted the first two. Atlas Deepcore 12.zip. Gambling this time it contains high-resolution infrared images and a single document labeled Structural Hypothesis. The report outlines surface regions forming perfect geometric alignment. Triangular nodes spaced equidistantly along one hemisphere. Thermal mapping suggests these nodes heat and cool in sequence with each pulse transmission. Crimson, it reads less like a comet analysis and more like a diagnostic report of an active machine. No agency claims authorship, but the formatting matches previous NASA documentation styles. Someone is still message-tastic. At the edge of the dark web, a final post attributed to Dr. Kell appears. Pagamentas tains coordinates, a timestamp, and one line. If they respond, remember we heard them first. Merciless follows, but satellite logs show that at the listed coordinates, deep space radar recorded a faint signal echo seconds after the timestamp. The echo is weak, fading, but patterned, the same rhythm, inverted, as if the transmission had been answered. Then, once again, nothing. The present moment, Electru. It is now late October 2025. 3/Atlas continues on its inbound path, slowly approaching perihelion. Mentris, new emissions could begin at any time, or they might never return. Every observatory on Earth remains tuned, waiting for a sign. The leaked files, still spreading online, have rewritten scientific history. Governments deny, scientists debate, and humanity listens. No one can say whether the signal came from an intelligence or a phenomenon we don't yet understand. But the data, the structure, and the silence that followed have changed everything. For the first time, we are not just looking into the stars, we are listening for a reply. If you're watching this, remember, this story is not over. More data will surface, more discoveries will unfold, and the truth, whatever it is, will no longer belong to a handful of experts. Look up tonight. That faint light moving through the dark sky is real, right now, in this moment. It has crossed millions of years and countless worlds to reach us. Maybe it's just ice and rock. Mentris, it's something built, sent, and waiting. Either way, it's no longer silent. And neither are we. Stay curious, stay awake, because the next signal could come at any second, and when it does, the story of humanity will never be the same again.